Yes, sir, Andy. We had what is commonly called around here is a shit pile of snow last week. We had a shit pile of snow last week. I shoveled for 40 days and 40 nights. I'm serious, It was the new, instead of a flood, it was typical February in central Montana. All right? Yeah. Good news is it's going to be in the 40s all this week. So it's like, all right. Listening to the Winter Brothers this morning before showtime. For those of you that do not know, those are the two albino brothers from Texas, Edgar and Johnny Winter. I think that Andy, Edgar was more commercially successful, especially with the album They Only Come Out at Night. That was the album that had the hit Frankenstein. That was like dun 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 dun, something like that. But both the brothers put out. They did Right White Trash together. Both the brothers put out really some great vinyl. Johnny Winter's live and wow, that whole medley on the second side is just you rattle my brain too much love. It's like, oh my God, man, and of course good old Ricky. No, not Ricky Ricardo. Jeez, Rick Derringer. He was a fixture with both bands. Especially with the Edgar Winter band. Rick was a really good guitar player in his own right. He did the album All American Boy, Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. That's Rick. I got to see all three of them folks. Actually, growing up in Missoula. I saw all three of those guys in the 70s. I saw Edgar Winter at the, the Dahlberg Arena, Harry Adams Fieldhouse. When was that about? I had graduated, but not very long after. And then, later on, I saw Edgar Winter at the Trading Post Saloon, a bar in Missoula, and that's a bar, I said, and we could do a whole podcast, life at a weekend at the Trading Post Saloon. We could do a whole show on just, my God, and we're arrested. But yeah, Edgar Winter played at the Trading Post Saloon. Saw Rick Derringer. Rick Derringer came to the Trading Post Saloon too. That was in the 70s, late 70s when Rick finally showed up there. It was a good show, both of them. I saw Johnny Winter. Johnny Winter was more of a blues. Geez, he was the blues. I saw him downtown Missoula at the Top Hat. At the Top Hat. Top Hat was a lot different back then. I think that was the week that John Lee Hooker had just played there the previous weekend. I don't know why I'm pointing. The previous weekend is that way, and next weekend is over here. The Top Hat used to be quite the place. The John Lee Hooker, Johnny Winter, They played both there. I remember seeing Charlie Musselwhite. He's a blues harmonica player. He played there. B.B. King played there. Geez. If those walls could talk at the top half. My God, that was back when I was not even thinking about getting sober back in the 70s. We were just starting out, you know. Boop, 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 boop. You know, we're just going to the top hat to see Johnny Winter. Man, whew. Them were the days, Andy. I'm telling you, man. But yeah, the Winter Brothers, really good band. Played, like I said, they played together. They played different. I strongly recommend, if you don't know who Edgar Winter is, if you don't know who Johnny Winter is, if you don't know who Rick Derringer is, I suggest that you go get some stuff and listen to it, because you're missing out. Huh? If I was in charge of a radio station, or just hypothetically saying, you know, I was on a show or something, I would play Johnny Winter, Edgar Winter, and Rick Derringer. And, of course, Foghat. The standard operation Foghat. Guten Morgen, everyone. Felt like saying it in German this morning. Good morning. Like I said, it looks to be like a fairly nice day. All that snow that was accumulated last week, I swear to God, I got a shit pile in the front of the house. Today is the 19th of February, Monday, and it is also the third Monday of February, which means how come you don't have that sound effect? It's President's Day. Well, it's a federal holiday. Andy, it's a federal holiday. Now, do we have the day off? No, we don't. We're here. We never have a day off. We were here on New Year's Day. We were here on Christmas Day. If Thanksgiving would have landed on a Monday, we would have been here. We never have a day off, you know. Somebody needs to talk to corporate about this, because, you know, this is just like we never have a day off. There's no PTO. You know, corporate, like, is just what? Who? What? We are corporate. I'm corporate. You're corporate. We're the show. What about the owner? The guy from South Korea, the David Lee guy. What about him? Isn't he the owner anymore? Or did we buy him out? We did not buy him out. Well, seeing it's President's Day, why don't we give people a little background on what the hell's going on today? See, it started out just one day, Washington's birthday. And that started because they building the Washington Monument, and it was such a celebration that they're like, what can we do, you know, to celebrate this huge wonder that we just built over the beloved George Washington? Okay? But the problem is, he was born on February 22nd. Okay? And all the states were doing Washington's birthday because of, like, the monument. We're celebrating the first president, and it was a really big deal. And then people they're like, what about Lincoln? Lincoln's the great emancipator. What about Lincoln? We love Lincoln. He got shot in the theater, but we love Lincoln anyway. Man, can you think about Lincoln if there was Twitter back then in the days? He'd be like going to theater and like, Mary just dragged me to the theater. OMG, somebody shoot me. Good thing they didn't have Twitter, Andy. That's right. So they're celebrating Washington's birthday. Then other states are like, what about Lincoln? We could do brunch on Lincoln's birthday. So then they started doing it. So, and also Lincoln's birthday is not today. Just like Washington's birthday is not today. Lincoln was born on February 12th. Okay? So, they're like celebrating Washington on the 22nd, Lincoln on the 12th. Hey, Lincoln was a cool dude and all, but I mean, they're celebrating. They're, throwing parties, having a good time. It's Lincoln's birthday. Well, then, some states then started to add Jefferson. We'll move that up to the sky. We're going to move on top to the sky, or the top piece of the pie, the Jeffersons. They were not celebrating the Jeffersons. They were celebrating Thomas Jefferson. Hey, and which is, when they started sticking Thomas Jefferson in there and they're celebrating in February, that was really peculiar anyway. Why, do you say? Because he was born on April 13th, that's why. Why would they be celebrating it, in February? So, in fact, if you really want to get nitpicking about this, which, of course, I always do, all right? If you really, really want to just say, all right, what's up with the President's Day, Pipewrench? Well, the fact is that President's Day has never will fall on any Americans' presidents' birthdays. Nope. Only 4 American presidents were born in February. Washington, good old George, of course, we told you about George. William Harrison. Now, who the F is William Harrison, Andy? Why is there William Harrison? Okay. William Harrison was born in February. Lincoln, of course. Oh, Mary, let's go to the president. And Ronald Reagan. They were all born in February. But their birthdays all come too early, or they come too late. Early is over here, late is over here. To coincide with any President's Day, which is always celebrated on the 3rd Monday of the month of February. This year it's the 19th. Basically what they did is it was the Uniform Monday Holiday Act in 1968. And what that did was it moved certain holidays to always be like a 3-day weekend. Whether it was the 3-day weekend act, the Monday Holiday Act, so they moved, this day, they moved a couple other days, and that's how it got to be a 3-day weekend. It was an executive order from Richard, I am not a crook, Nixon. 1971 is when he signed that executive order. And that gave us what we celebrate now. It's a federal, all the freaking presidents, celebration, honor day, all the presidents are honored at once. Yes, even him, for whichever shoe that fits. Okay? I'm not saying we have no hidden agenda on even him. It's a President's Day for all presidents, even him. Because there's some of you that don't like this president, and there's some of you that don't like that president. And there's some of you that surely don't like that president over there. But it's a celebration for all of them. So get out there, get a new mattress, because you know that's what today is really all about. I mean, the Denver mattress girl, the blonde girl that's always barefoot in the commercials, is running around telling me we got another sale. Every time I go down there, she ain't there. What the hell's up with that, Andy? I mean, you know, come on down and see me in President's Day mattress sale. I get down there. Is she there? No, she's not there. So, today is President's Day, the 19th. Coincidentally, today is also Iwo Jima Day. Okay, you've heard of D-Day. What are other ones? You know, there's Memorial Day. There's a lot of recognized days for our Army. But the battle when we were doing some research for this little segment here on the Battle of Iwo Jima, I was just blown away at some of the details, some of the actual hey whatnots of what happened during that period. Now, the Battle of Iwo Jima lasted 5 weeks. It started on February 19th and it went to March 26th. So it went from the 19th to the 26th. It was a major, I can't stress major, spectacular battle in which the United States Marine Corps, with support from the United States Navy, landed on and eventually captured the island of Iwo Jima from the Imperial Japanese Army during World War II. The island of Iwo Jima itself, it had 2 airfields. Was a stone's throw from the mainland of Japan. So it was thought to be a very important stepping stone at the time, okay, before the invasion. The island itself was a heavily fortified. They had tunnels everywhere. They set up with the jungles, and there was booby traps. It was some of the fiercest. Like I said, man, it was horrific. It was some of the fiercest fighting of World War II in the South Pacific War. My dad flew in the South Pacific. If you ever watched the podcast and have listened, yes, I talk about it. Thanks, Dad, again. It was a no-win situation for Japan. They were on an island. There was nowhere to get reinforcements to them. They had nowhere to go. There was eventually there's 70,000 American troops on the island in the invasion force. The food, supplies, ammunition would all be in short supply. That's for sure. That's for absolute sure. The Japanese combat death toll numbered 3 times what the number of Americans killed. On the island before the American invasion, there were 21,000 Japanese imperial troops. They were there at the beginning of the battle when the troops landed. By the end, in March, 5 weeks later, only 216. Now, did you hear the math there, Andy? 21,000 start. 216 were taken prisoner. Some of them were captured just because they were hurt, beat up, they were disabled, they couldn't, subboard, and there was no number. But, 2-3 weeks after the war had ended, still coming out of the tunnels. $21,000 days. 21,000, only 216 were captured. Man, that's only because they were wounded. On the flip side, 7,000 American Marines lost their lives on the assault and taking of Iwo Jima. 7,000 in 5 weeks lost their life. That was staggering when I was reading that. It's like, geez. A total of damn near 30,000 people lost their lives on an island. And the wounded is double that, right? So you had Americans lost 7,000 American Marines, and another 14 to 15,000 were wounded in battle. Basically, you had 30,000 people almost lose their lives on an island that never had the significance that the military leaders thought it would. It was historians, sometimes historians question why we even did it. The war was over not very long after that. So, and we didn't need it in the first place. I remember reading when we did the reading up on this, the way that it was set up. I mean, first of all, the sands of Iwo Jima, which was a movie, were lava. Was it lava sand? It's very, very unsteady. It's very hard to get around in. The beaches were very steep. Second of all, after that, the Japanese had started a new tactic. It was a new tactic that was kind of like run and hide. They went up in the jungle. They built tunnels. They built fortifications. They only attacked at night. even though the Americans put on 70,000 troops with naval air support, it was still took 5 weeks. It was treacherous going. The whole thing was just like, I'm telling you, Andy, it was just like a bust to begin with. You know, so the run and gun and run and gun and run and gun, the death toll was high. I found it interesting that one of the primary weapons that took Iwo Jima, one of the primary, they had two or three in the flamethrowers. That's basically how they rooted them out of the tunnels, jungles, flamethrowers. I mean, war ain't pretty, man. Jeez. Reading all this thinking, Jesus, man, holy shnikes. These guys are really messing each other up. The battle, I think the Battle of Iwo Jima, though, is probably most famous now. If we're going to get famous, people just probably are like not even knowing what I'm talking about yet. But it's for the black and white photograph raising the flag of Iwo Jima. It's the 6 guys that are raising the flag. It's a black and white photograph taken by Joe Rosenthal, who won a Pulitzer Prize, the first Pulitzer Prize for a photograph, for his photograph. Now, the photograph itself that you see that Joe took was staged because the original flag was too small. And it was small, you couldn't see it from the beach. The general that showed up on the beach, his name escapes me. If you could throw it up, Andy, I'd appreciate him. The general got there and he's like, good job, you guys. You know, I could barely see the flag. Let's plan another one. And then the photographers that got there, and then the soldiers that staged the photo are not all of the original that actually raised the flag on Iwo Jima. 3 of the 6 that did the actual raising, the too small for the general flag, lost their life, killed in action. So they 3 stand-ins. The picture was staged, very well documented that it was. It's not something that I'm surprising everyone was. If you look it up, the information is everywhere from Wikipedia to U.S. history and PBS. So, I mean, the picture itself is famous. It's been on a stamp. It's probably the most recognized photo from World War II or any war, I think, Andy, is any war, wouldn't you say? I mean, come on, you know, that photograph is famous. It's staged. The original people that raised the flag weren't all there. 3 of them had been killed. The other 3 went on to be famous, gave tours, talked about it. You know, it's just for the bloodiest conflict in the South Pacific, damn near the war. I mean, 30,000 people died in 5 weeks. You'd think it would get more fanfare, more recognition. It would be more publicized, or we would be made more aware of it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird, wild, crazy thing. Reading about this, I was just stupefied about the whole battle, and the flamethrowers, and 21,000 Japanese dying, and 7,000 Marines, and tunnels, and just all for naught, basically. You read that up on that too. They criticize, why did we even do it? Well, we needed the picture. I don't think that they needed the picture. Clint Eastwood. I'm glad you just gave me the Clint sign. Clint Eastwood directed movies about Iwo Jima. Clint Eastwood, first of all, directed The Flags of Our Fathers. That is a movie that was shot from the American perspective. Again, that was directed by Clint Eastwood. He also did Letters from Iwo Jima, and that's filmed from a Japanese perspective. So it's the same event, same movies, completely movies from different perspectives. I've seen them both. I highly recommend them. It's very eye-opening, especially especially the one from the Japanese perspective. Can you imagine? We lose 4 or 5, and it is a disaster, and rightfully so. 21,000 in 5 weeks, 7,000 in 5 weeks, another 14,000 injured. Whew. Andy is giving me the high sign. Take your day off. It's Iwo Jima Day. It's President's Day. Take your day off and listen to some Johnny and Edgar Winter, which we started with. Yeah, I know I tied that. Now, I want y'all to remember something. Just remember that because we can't literally save them all, that doesn't mean we stop trying, okay? We try every day. So everybody, don't quit trying to save them all. Spay and neuter, adopt, don't shop, rescue, volunteer, foster, adopt a shelter pet today. Andy, till next week, have a great President's Day. If you got the day off, enjoy your day off. We're out of here. Andy says we are out of here. Thank you, everybody.